In a surprising turn of events that has ignited controversy across social media, BTS member Jin is allegedly in disagreement with HYBE over the proposed structure of BTS's long-anticipated comeback. Sources close to the industry suggest that Jin, known for his vocal stance on artistic integrity, has firmly rejected the initial draft presented by HYBE, citing concerns about lack of creative freedom and excessive commercial control. This has led fans to question whether deeper issues are brewing between the global superstar and his agency. According to speculative insider reports, the tension reportedly arose during a series of closed-door meetings held shortly after Jin completed his post-military solo projects. Jin, who gained widespread praise for his solo single, The Astronaut, and his collaborations with Coldplay and Alo Yoga, is said to be advocating for a more emotionally driven and meaningful comeback, one that highlights the personal growth and evolution of each member, rather than a high-gloss, profit-driven spectacle. Allegedly, HYBE's creative team had presented a tightly choreographed and visually explosive concept for the next BTS release. However, Jin is said to have pushed back, requesting a direction that emphasizes vulnerability, authenticity, and musical experimentation. This conflict comes at a time when fans are already on edge, anxiously awaiting BTS's reunion and return to the global stage. The hashtag #RespectJin trended worldwide following leaks that suggested his vision for the comeback was being overruled. Many ARMYs expressed frustration at the possibility of agency interference, calling for HYBE to recognize Jin not just as a performer, but as a seasoned artist with over a decade of experience. Some fans even speculate that this dispute is only the tip of the iceberg, pointing to recent body language analyses and backstage footage where Jin appeared distant or visibly tense in HYBE-related settings. While no official statements have been released from either party, Jin's past interviews offer context. He has often expressed his desire to evolve as an artist and not be confined by idol stereotypes. His 2024 appearance in high-fashion campaigns and his outspoken presence during industry events further fueled the image of a mature artist who is ready to break conventional molds. Behind the scenes, questions are being raised about HYBE's handling of its biggest global asset. Is the company failing to adapt to the evolving needs of its most experienced members? Or is this all part of a calculated publicity strategy ahead of a dramatic BTS comeback rollout? Until clarity emerges, fans are left in a whirlwind of speculation, emotion, and hope. One thing is clear, Jin is no longer just worldwide handsome. He's becoming worldwide honest. And if this bold move is any indication, he's not afraid to fight for what he believes BTS should stand for in 2025 and beyond. As fans brace themselves for the official word, rumors continue to swirl about internal tensions simmering behind HYBE's polished exterior. Industry insiders whisper of a creative divide that has grown wider with each comeback cycle, especially as BTS members like Jin, RM, and Suga mature into artists with complex visions that may no longer align with the company's commercial blueprint. Jin's resistance may not simply be an isolated incident. It could represent a watershed moment for all idols seeking autonomy in an industry long dominated by top-down control. What makes this unfolding drama even more intense is the silence from both HYBE and Jin himself.
No denials, no clarifications.
Just silence. A silence that speaks volumes. Fans have flooded online forums with theories, some pointing to Jin's recent avoidance of official BTS content, others highlighting cryptic lyrics and social media behavior that suggest a man torn between loyalty and frustration. Could this be the moment when Jin draws the line between performer and puppet? Even more provocative are questions surrounding HYBE's future strategies. Will they risk alienating one of the most beloved members of BTS by suppressing his creative will? Or will they finally recognize that the era of idol obedience is ending and that the future lies in collaboration, not control? Meanwhile, ARMY is not waiting idly. Protest hashtags are surging, fan projects calling for #LetJinLead are being launched, and petitions demanding transparency from HYBE have already gathered tens of thousands of signatures. As always, fans are not just spectators. They are the driving force behind the unfolding narrative, determined to protect the dignity of the artists they love. If HYBE doesn't act wisely, this could snowball into the biggest public standoff the company has ever faced. And unlike past controversies, this one involves Jin, the heart of BTS, the anchor, the big brother, the one who always smiled to keep the group grounded, the one who is now standing up. The world is watching. Will HYBE bend to the will of artistry? Or will they gamble everything to retain their grip on a group that has outgrown the label's limits? we may be witnessing the beginning of a historic reshaping of the K-pop industry, one where artists like Jin lead not just with beauty and vocals, but with courage and conviction. ChatGPT belong. And now, the tension continues to mount, because while HYBE maintains its silence, Jin's subtle actions speak louder than any press release. Fans have noticed a pattern in his recent behavior, declining scheduled variety appearances, avoiding promotional content, and allegedly postponing key internal meetings. All of these actions point to one unavoidable conclusion: Jin may be actively resisting the timeline and structure of BTS's highly anticipated comeback. Not out of rebellion, but out of principle, rumors swirl that a recent private meeting between Jin and Bang Si-hyuk turned unexpectedly emotional, with sources claiming that Jin voiced his concerns directly to the HYBE chairman. Words like burnout, creative suffocation, and even public pressure were allegedly uttered in the heated discussion. Jin, known for always protecting the younger members and carrying emotional burdens silently, may finally have reached his limit. If true, this could mark a defining shift in the way idols negotiate with their agencies moving forward, but HYBE is in a precarious position. Letting Jin go his own way might trigger a domino effect, with other members demanding similar autonomy. But forcing him to comply could spark a catastrophic backlash, not just from ARMY, but from the global entertainment industry watching how HYBE handles its biggest star. This is not just about a comeback. This is about power, respect, and the soul of the band that redefined global K-pop. Even more troubling for HYBE, international media outlets have begun circling the story, hinting that the company may be facing its biggest public relations crisis since its IPO. And at the center of it all is Jin, stoic, composed, and silently defiant. A symbol of grace under pressure. A man who once willingly enlisted early for military duty, now daring to challenge the very agency he once defended with loyalty. What happens next could redefine idol-agency relations for years to come. Will HYBE recognize that the world no longer wants robotically controlled artists, but human beings with opinions and integrity? Or will they continue down the path of rigid control, risking the very legacy they built? As the world watches with bated breath, one thing is clear: Jin is not backing down. And HYBE may soon discover that even the most powerful company cannot contain a storm once it begins to rise from within. The silence has grown deafening, but the ripples of Jin's quiet defiance are getting louder by the day. In the days following the alleged clash between Jin and HYBE executives, a new wave of speculation has overtaken Korean and international entertainment forums alike. Close observers claim Jin has begun taking bold and symbolic steps to distance himself from the current direction of BTS's planned comeback, refusing specific styling meetings, ignoring proposed concept drafts, and even pulling out of a key group photo shoot. Each decision, subtle yet resolute, is interpreted as an act of resistance, not just against a company, but against the unspoken system that has controlled idols for decades. Behind the curtain, insiders whisper of rising tension between Jin and select HYBE board members who are reportedly pressuring the group to return with a more commercial, aggressive style. Jin, known for his artistic instincts and emotional sincerity, is said to be resisting what he calls the over-commodification of BTS's image. "We're not a brand," he allegedly told a producer during a closed-door meeting. "We're people. We're brothers. We're artists." This internal battle is already beginning to reshape the power dynamics at HYBE. Some employees, especially those who have worked with BTS since their earliest days, are said to be quietly backing Jin, believing that his vision for a more organic, authentic comeback is exactly what the group needs after years of industry burnout and military separation. Others, however, view Jin's assertiveness as a threat to the finely tuned business machine BTS has become, and now, fans are taking sides. Social media has erupted with passionate debates. Hashtags like #StandWithJin, #LetBTSDecide, and #NotHYBSPuppets have begun trending across platforms. Jin's fanbase is unleashing a wave of emotional posts, sharing clips of his heartfelt speeches, moments where he protected his members, and older interviews in which he hinted at feeling invisible in the creative process. These fans aren't just supporting a comeback. They're demanding justice for an idol who gave everything and now dares to ask for something in return. What makes this even more seismic is the timing.